On the stage now, PWHL Seattle General Manager Meghan Turner, your first entry draft, making history for PWHL Seattle. First, of course, in your role. Just take us through it from your perspective, please.
Uh, yeah, it was a fun night. Um, Obviously, two of two drafts this year. So a lot of work leading up to it, and just happy with the group we got. I think we went for need based on the roster that we have, and I feel good about the players that we got today. So it was fun experience, a great team around me. Obviously, great league, great group of people on stage. So it was just a good night.
Questions, and just we've got some questions in the room, and just a reminder to the media on our joining remotely, please drop a question into the chat, and it'll be asked on your behalf.
How did today's experience differ from your previous experiences in the draft as an assistant?
Yeah, it's a good question. Well, it's a lot different. I got to see Danielle go up on stage and make the picks for Boston. And when you're in the driver's seat, it's a different responsibility, but it's a great one, and I take nothing for granted. And I know that she's done a lot to get me here, so I think it was just a good pinch me moment. To be here today. Yeah.
Are you still rolling there, Dave? Okay, let's try to just watch your camera.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, Haley,
Should I just restart?
if you don't mind, please.
So when you're talking about filling need at this
Mhm.
draft, just given some of the elite talent you got through the expansion process, was that need just looking at filling out depth at all three positions? You mentioned Hannah Murphy in that tandem.
Yeah, for sure. I think I've said it from the beginning. It's not just about always having the best players out there. You have to build the roster, obviously with the identity in mind and the strategy that you want to build it, but it takes different identities at different spots and different roles. Some players are good third line centers, some players are wings, some players can play up the lineup, down the lineup, more versatile. So definitely, we have a strong group of elite players, and I think this group is going to complement that group already really well.
I know there's a lot of GMs in the league who go like the WCHA, UMD, lots of Minnesota teams. Did it feel like you were able to kind of grab some maybe hidden talent from the Big Hockey East, the Yukon players specifically, maybe?
Yeah, I think the team around me has some Hockey East experience too, so that helps. But definitely, I think there's all of the NCAA international pool of players is just getting better and better as we go. So it's of course there's you can see the teams that have the most players in the league. And where they come from, but there's always really good players that you can find. So I think it probably helped that I did have some people surrounding me who knew those players really, really well.
Just 1 second, Kristen.
Sure. Want me to read that one?
No, Chris is gonna ask that one.
Okay.
Sure.
Sorry, this is fun.
Megan, so right now you have, you have players on a piece of paper. So
Sure.
that's, maybe the disadvantages that the two new teams have is you're completely starting from scratch. So what did you learn in your time with Boston and maybe that first season about how to translate that into something place?
Yeah, it's a good question because you can look at something on paper and then as soon as you put it on the ice, you're like, oh, we kind of need to change some things. So it's going to be, I think, a lot of what I take away from my time in Boston is not everything goes as planned all the time. Injuries happen, things go differently in the season than how you might have planned. So just having the flexibility to be able to kind of move players around and manage expectations with them and also work with the coach. And I know Steve is going to be unbelievable. He's an amazing person. He connects with people in a way that's really unique. And he is really going to be focused on the players' well-being and making sure that he's holding them accountable and all the good stuff, but he just cares about them a lot. And so I think as far as some adversity that I am going to expect we will find, you'll have that roster on paper. You'll get some adversity during the season, and I know he's going to be able to manage that really, really well.
Take one online. Does you read, speak to what into your decision to pick Hannah Murphy?
Yeah, absolutely. So she's a great goaltender. She's big. She gets post to post really well. So even though she's big, she's also really athletic. So just a great goaltender. She I think will complement Corinne Schroeder really, really well. The West Coast, I imagine, will be doing a little more traveling. So and then you have some Olympic breaks and just the ebb and flow of the season. So I think having two really solid goaltenders is very important in this league. I think we've seen it throughout the last 2 years that it's important to have goalies that can really step in and jump into the game. So yeah, hoping to see her do that. And I think just being on the West Coast with some of the travel that we'll have this year, it's gonna, she's gonna need to step into some big roles and some big moments.
How surprising was it to get a player who was tied for team lead in scoring with your final pick and Olivia Walling?
Yeah, she's great. She's surprising. I don't know if I was surprised necessarily, but I was happy with the pick. I think last year we had Shea Maloney was a 6th-rounder, I believe, in Boston, and
was reprotected by Boston this year. So you can definitely, I'm sorry, getting a little feedback here.
Got our camera back, so look at that.
All right, cool. Sorry. So as you know, there's a lot of room for these players to really show what they have. And she obviously has already done so. Big scorer as well, 40 points this past year. So I expect her to, come into training camp and put up some big numbers there too. You sure? I can sit here all night. I don't know about you guys. You got to get to your gibberish,
Maybe just one more if we can, Hannah, look into the computer, especially that now that we've got the feed restored. Now we know we have some Seattle media on.
Yeah.
If you could just kind of put into perspective this whole roster building process, the phases from the signings to the expansion draft and now the entry draft, and just how rewarding that's been, and I'm sure how excited you are to introduce that team to a new city.
Yeah, I feel like I sound like a broken record when I say how excited I am, but I say it with it's all very genuine. I am really, really excited to bring this team to Seattle. Seattle's a great city. I've been out there a lot. The fans have already been super engaged. The players are really, really excited. I've already had discussions with many of them, and they're just ecstatic to be out in the city. And then we'll, add some more here today. So yeah, we are ecstatic to be able to engage in the community with our fans, with maybe people who don't know that they're going to be fans later on. But we're really excited, and I'm really excited to show Seattle. I know we got some glimpses of that in the past with the national team and then the takeover tour, but I'm excited to show Seattle more permanently just how elite these athletes are, and hopefully win a championship in year one.
And if you could, if the roster has any type of identity or any kind of, too early to perhaps say style of play, but just if your assessment of it thus far and what Seattle fans can expect out of the PWHL and this team.
Yeah, style of play, I think I've been saying it is fast and physical, but I also think on defense it's going to be to get a little more technical maybe. I think it's going to be pretty hard to play against us. Our D-core, I expect to keep players out of the inner slot area and not be able to get many shots on net. We have a lot of defensemen that are going to really push other forwards or opponents to the outside, and hoping that we can kind of force other teams to play on the perimeter as much as possible. So defensively, I think that's kind of what I would expect, and then I expect some sustained offense, and I would like to be possessing the puck a lot. So.
Thank you, Megan.